Really digging through their old photographs and sharing stories from the area's history in a new Facebook group. Judy Hopkins is our community contact there. She's managed to track down the page's creator, and she's online to tell us more about this group. Good morning, Judy.
Good morning.
So far, so good for you?
Oh, yeah, no complaints.
Excellent. You know, you got to be grateful for these kinds of days.
When you compare it to other places in the States or in Canada, we've been very fortunate.
Absolutely. It's good perspective. This new Facebook group that everyone is buzzing about, what is it and what's the focus?
It's called Memories of the Aspotogan Peninsula and Hubbards, and it was started back as a different name, Memories of basically of the Mill Cove area, but it has developed over the last 3 years or so, and it's got over 600 members now, who are interested in sharing the history that they might have in pictures or whatever. And it's really quite interesting because it gives us a very good picture of things from the past that we might never have seen or thought of before.
And in actual pictures or photographs, I gather.
In actual pictures or photographs.
Yeah, and who got this going?
A local gentleman named Eric Jollimore, who has a varied background in working, but included in his background is computer skills. And he got involved in this just before COVID started, and he started to collect the memories and the history of the Mill Cove area. And then he decided to expand it to include the Aspotogan Peninsula and Hubbards. And he has since acquired help from some other people to do certain things, and right now there's 4 people that are helping him: Glenda Wimmer from Fox Point, Bev Levy from Mill Cove, and 2 other ladies, Debbie Vogue, I think it's called, and Liz LeBlanc have just gotten involved, helping set it up and if they can get pictures or whatever. So it's turned out to be really good for the area. But it's called technically Memories of the Aspotogan Peninsula and Hubbards.
All right, so the geographic area has expanded, and so has the membership?
And the membership now, I believe, is at least 612 people.
All right, growing like gangbusters. Do you need permission or to pass some sort of opening questions to join the group?
Yes, in a way, yes. The group is classified as a private group because they only want people who are interested in joining, who are interested in talking about or showing things from the history of the area, not people with other intentions, because as we know, on technology today, there's often people with the intentions that we don't really want.
Yeah.
And they want people who can contribute photos of people or places and stuff like that. And so you have to request to join, and then you have to answer 2 questions. And the questions what is your interest in this group, and how do you find out about the group, and what's your plan? They don't just want someone to click on because they can click on.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, and they're sort of assessing what they'll contribute.
Yes, and that's the important part.
So can people just add photos, or is there any kind of vetting or editorial process?
Well, there is a vetting process. Bev takes care of vetting and accepting the new members, and then Glenda helps organize and follow up on new photographs that are posted, gets the correct information, clarifies dates, locations, and all the stuff to make sure that it's accurate. And Eric is the person who looks after the data collection and the research. He tries to gather information about the area that the pictures relate to, and he will sometimes ask for copies of photos from people's albums, and he also, when he can, interviews community members about genealogy and what life was like in the past in the area.
No, that sounds so interesting. It must be really fascinating for people who've have a connection to the area to see these come to life and photos pop up that they've never seen before.
Oh, yes. They're trying to do a really good job of encouraging people to share information and photographs, as we know, that have been tucked away that might otherwise just get dust in the attic or be in someone's basement forever or be thrown the garbage by accident, because it's about learning the history of the area. And sometime back in 50, 100 days years ago, there wasn't necessarily a lot of community contact about things like that. So if people wrote stuff down or did have a picture and it just sits in a garage or in a drawer somewhere, no one knows about it.
Absolutely. Have you seen some incredible photographs that you've spent time just poring over and sort of relating, oh, that's what that looked like back then, or that's who that is?
Well, it is interesting because I've seen some pictures when I've checked it out, and I see how the physical community has changed, how houses that you see in a picture are no longer there because there's something else and it's different. It's quite interesting to see how people have changed their way of life and how the community has grown physically in its presentation. So when you drive through an area, you go, oh yeah, okay, how you sort of, oh, look at that. And it really is interesting. And I saw something yesterday, I believe it was, that I noticed that was interesting. It was a census from 1911, I think it was, and a list of all the people who lived in the area and their addresses and that. And I think, well, that's kind of good for people who've not been there before or who are trying to trace their family heritage and to see who were all their relatives and whatever. There's all kinds of possibilities there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And is the history mainly one of fishing, being as it's mostly along the coast?
It's just about anything that people are interested in providing. And it's not just about fishing. There was a picture in the last week that I noticed of a gentleman who was involved in one of the wars, from definitely a fair time ago, a veteran. And most people wouldn't have known about this, except maybe the family, because communication in the early 1900s was somewhat different than it is today, obviously.
Yes, and even that list from 1911 would contain the names of families affected by the two wars that followed.
Oh yes, no, it's very interesting, and I've a founding member of the Hubbards Heritage Society that was begun in 1995, and we are always trying to collect history and pictures and knowledge that we can save for the area for people in the future. And so I think this is really significant because people are cleaning out their closets or coming across something and they're willing to share it. And it's helping the history of the whole area. And the fact that people work together is really good.
Yeah, well, just remind us one more time what the name of the group is in case people are interested in joining, Judy.
Okay, it's called Memories of the Aspotogan Peninsula and Hubbards. And one other thing that I note is that it's really significant or nice for people who have moved away and maybe want to look back or add to their photo collection, and for people who live away and are thinking about moving to the area, to Nova Scotia or a particular area, and seeing what it was like in the past and maybe some of the things that are happening today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a real good thing to have, but we're very fortunate.
Definitely. And, people take photos on their phones now, maybe don't print them out like they did back in the day. So these are real gems.
Yeah.
Yes. Judy, great to talk to you about this and to let people know how they can join if they pass the test.
It's yes, because they can pass the test. They can go to the site and they'll do their questions and things.
All right.
The other thing that I thought of was the importance of other places in the province or even Canada thinking, well, maybe this would work for us. And before you know it, more people could be sharing their history and organizing it for their own communities for down the road.
Absolutely. Judy, we have to leave it there. I hope you have a great day.
You too. We'll take advantage of the reasonable weather.
Exactly. Before tomorrow.
Okay. Exactly.
Bye-bye, Judy.
Bye-bye.
It's Judy Hopkins.